Hi, my name is Randy Rolfe, and I'm an independent consultant with Niken, and I am happy to be doing this product showcase. We have a whole series of live calls every week that are hosted by independent consultants. It's not an official Niken series, but it's all about what it means to be part of Niken, to use the products, to integrate them into our homes, and to have that active wellness that only Niken can provide. So I'm going to share some slides here to keep me on track, because there's so much to share about Niken.
Before I walked out of that office, he was told me I had to do a phone interview.
Niken's all about discovering active wellness. And if you're joining now, let me see if I can mute everyone here. Okay, good. It's about living a life in balance, and the way to do that is to really support our health mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And Niken's products do that physical part, and that's what we'll focus on most today. But it's really a whole way of living, the Niken way. And what we focus on is the everyday lifestyle choices. Daily choices compound into a lifetime of either feeling under stress and not achieving your potential, or being a human's being more, which is the motto of the company and has been since the beginning in 1975. And I actually started out as a lawyer, and when I decided to have my family, I wanted a lifestyle that gave me more control so I could be with my kids. And so I started a family counseling practice out of my home after I wrote some parenting books. And this is what I found made all the difference for families. It was the little decisions they made. It wasn't about a fancy vacation, or we're all going to go on a diet in January, or we're all going to join a fitness club, or we're all going to stop eating meat. It was about the daily choices that kept everyone healthy and in balance. So that's what Niken's based on. Creating the right environment so that you nourish your body, mind, and spirit. It's truly an amazing company. So the context, since I started 19 years ago, the health environment has become worse, unfortunately, rather than better. The stress levels are even worse. Chronic stress, of course, humans have always had stress, you know, when the saber-toothed tiger chases you up a tree, but chronic stress is a new thing, and it's impacting heart disease, diabetes, fatigue, allergies, sleep, and weight. It's considered contributing up to 70%, even 80% of the problems that are killing us and disabling us, including mental things, anxiety, depression, chronic tension. So anything that helps reduce your stress, or not just the stress that's coming in, but how your body responds to stress, is where it's at. 70% of people say they have sleep problems from one time to another. And we know now that one poor night's sleep drops your immune system 30 to 60% immediately. It also interrupts your laying down of memory and the restoration of your nervous system, your muscles, and your brain power. I went to a lecture one time about sleep, and they didn't know anything about Niken, and they said that there is no drug that puts you into the deep sleep where healing really happens. But we do know that memory is laid down during sleep, and they said in that lecture that students need to get a good night's sleep if they're trying to cram for an exam. Not too many of them do it, but that was the recommendation. Moving on to air and water, outdoor pollution can be bad, but indoor pollution is even worse since we closed up our houses in the 70s to save on heating and cooling expense. And now 7 million premature deaths annually are linked to air pollution, according to the World Health Organization. And in our closed up homes, we're concentrating all the chemicals that we bring into the home, and we're also concentrating the positive ions, which are the non-beneficial ones. We need the negative ions where you're standing by a waterfall or a beach or walking through the forest. But we don't have them indoors unless we do something about that. Water contamination with the events in Flint, Michigan. We know that our water is seriously contaminated. Bottled water is found to contain thousands of chemicals, including endocrine disruptors that cause serious problems and maybe even cancer. And there are 260 contaminants in tap water, where it's supposed to be chlorinated and somewhat filtered, but there's nothing alive that's going to kill you in tap water, but there's plenty of things that over time can really affect your health. Please mute yourself if you have not done so. Okay, just to avoid noise. All right. So the people who suffer the most, of course, are the children. 1 out of every 5 adolescents has been found to be obese, and even more of them are considered overweight. And we know it's because of poor nutrition, and they're getting our kinds of chronic degenerative conditions earlier and earlier: cardiovascular problems, diabetes, and cancer. Less than half of adolescents eat the needed amount of vegetables. And of course, low-income families have it much worse. They're often in food deserts. They have higher levels of stress, anxiety, and depression, less access to health supervision, and of course are targeted by obesity-promoting advertisements and cheap junk food. Only 27.1% of high school children report meeting the standards for activity, and that's totally understandable because they don't feel like moving. Many of them are dealing with extra weight and poor nutrition. So what is the answer? It's humans being more, which, like I said, is the motto of the company. And we choose to be healthy by choice, not by chance, because if you leave it to chance, the chances aren't good. These chronic conditions can develop earlier and earlier if we're not taking active role in our wellness. So active wellness is the process through which we become aware of and make choices based on good information about health and wellness. And that's what Niken's all about. Niken is the only company in the world that has a comprehensive, balanced approach to holistic health. And from the beginning, the founder, Isamu Masuda in Japan, had this philosophy of a life of balance and happiness and abundance requires balance among all 5 of these areas. A healthy mind, I include the spirit there, healthy body, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. And they all need to be in balance or the others start to suffer. If we don't have time for our family, we feel burdened in our mind and we're not as effective at work. If we're running after the dollar and our job only gives us what we can barely scrape by on, we don't get to contribute to society. We have stress in our mind and our body. We may be more honorary with our family, and so on. Everything counts. If we have a bad attitude, everything else suffers. And certainly, if our health is bad, we can't be there for our family, for our society, or even our sources of income. So that's the core of the company, those 5 pillars of health, and I love that. My husband and I had departed from yuppie life as young lawyers and moved out to the country, and because we wanted to focus on family and health. But of course, we thought we'd given up the finances. But when we looked at that picture of the 5 pillars of health, we're like, wow, here's a company who doesn't want us to sacrifice our health and our family like the law firm expected me to do. And still wants us to have all the finances as well. So it's an amazing company. And Nikken started with products that replicate the natural energizing magnetic energy of the earth. The earth's a giant magnet. We're all supposed to be in that energy. All living things require it. So that's where they started. Then they developed a wonderful line of nutritionals that's second to none, and now we're in the 4th generation of those. And they developed a water system that not only gives the magnetized water as if it just came out of the ground, but it filters it, alkalizes it, and mineralizes it. We also have a full spectrum light that's right here on my desk, and an air system that not only filters the air, but adds back those negative ions that we need to relax us and make breathing easier. So here's a quick look at our product line. There are live presentations each week that focus specifically on different technologies, particularly this series called Self-Care Awareness. So do check those out. But I'll go over it really quickly. The nutrition and skincare, those are our consumable products. We have an amazing system where you can just order them each month and change it each month if you need to. The skincare is phenomenal, and we've just added hair care 2 products, shampoo and conditioner, which I love. And but it's organic based, certified, and nothing, no parabens, none of the nasty stuff that you don't want to put on your skin and your scalp. The nutritionals are second to none. I've studied and taught nutrition since the late 70s, and I'm so excited that Nikken is at the cutting edge in nutrition. There are 2 products, if you're watching the video, that stand out in our line, but every one of them is unique. Nikken doesn't come out with anything that isn't the best thing on the market ahead of everybody else. But the Osteodens is for bone health, and it actually helps the bones metabolize properly, just like in a newborn. It's actually based on the complex molecule in a mother's milk that helps a newborn build. And we call it replenishment because our bodies do have it, but as we age, it's reduced. So this, in a couple of months, even weeks, studies show that the bones are healthier. So you don't need to take those aggressive chemical medications that stop the bones from moving minerals in and out, just to keep them from demineralizing. But then all the other organs don't get the minerals they need because the bones are a bank. Minerals are supposed to move in and out. So that's what the Osteodens does. The other things that's showing is our antioxidant exotic fruit drink, and like so many other of our products, there's no fillers there, and many of them are organic certified. There's no additives, there's no sugars added, no preservatives. Amazing products we have. I just took a dozen of Nikken's pills this morning with my breakfast, and I feel fantastic all day. The environment is covered by the water, like I said. It filters at least 3 different ways. It alkalizes, mineralizes, and magnetizes your water just as if it came right out of the ground. And it tastes fabulous. It really can change lives, just our PiMag Nikken water. There's a shower system also that makes the Pi water, and we have a carry bottle, so you never have to pollute again by throwing away plastic bottles out of bottled water. And the light is there, full spectrum, doesn't flicker, it's LED, uses very little electricity, and that's our air system on the picture that I said already, makes the negative ions and filters the air It's fantastic. Our rest and relaxation, the insole was the very first product. In 4 years, Nikken became $1 billion company and was the fastest growing company in the history of Japan. Amazing, because it really works. So they sold millions of them. They sold over 35 million pair. Then they developed like a futon-based mattress topper, which is in its 4th generation, absolutely amazing, all natural material, no chemicals, and has magnetics that create the ideal kind of field for you to sleep in. It gets you into a deep, deep sleep. People regularly report they haven't ever slept so well. Then we have a comforter that gives you the far infrared energy, which is the energy of the sun that warms and alkalizes the body, and an ergonomic pillow that also has the magnetics and the ionic infrared different technologies. And then that funny little square there is another very popular daytime product for the lower back, but you can also use it on the tummy and the chest. It has all 3 technologies in it as well. So now I want to move on to our esteemed guest. Let's see, I need to make sure he's unmuted. This is Don Shenck, and he's a dear friend, and I wanted him to share his stories. And let me stop my share. And so this is Don Shenck, and he has wonderful stories with the products. He's had unique experiences with them because of his military service. And so welcome, Don. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and we just saw one another again in person in our field convention in San Antonio, where they not only introduced the hair products, but also an amazing new massage product that we're very excited about. But I want to get right to you, Don. So tell us, well, why don't you start with saying how excited you are about the massage product?
I am very much excited about that. I used it in San Antonio when it was in the demo, and I've been having some shoulder issues. I do a lot of driving, so my left arm's extended a lot. And within seconds, I felt a difference, like the pain cut in half. So, and I went to massage school as well, so it's something that I could use, in conjunction with that. So I think it'd be a very good product. And it's tri-phase, unlike, we haven't had a tri-phase massager like that before, which is the negative ions, the far infrared, and the magnetics. So they all work together.
Yeah, isn't that amazing that they put them all those things in a little handheld massage product? And yeah, I tried it too. It feels amazing. Any stress or tension, you just erase it. It's like Star Trek medicine, I call it.
Well, I just want to go into how I got started with everything.
Please.
I was a medic. I joined the Navy in 1988. And I was a medic for 20 years. So I worked, my first tour was an oncology ward at Bethesda Naval Hospital. And then I worked in various clinics, and also about half of my time was with the Marine Corps. So I was in the Gulf War on a hospital ship, and then I was with the Marines in Fallujah with an infantry battalion. And at that time I was 44. I had a knee surgery, which I'll talk about later. But it was a little stressful over there. In fact, I was the only one I know of to have a wellness home in Iraq. You can imagine the Marine Corps gets 1% of the budget, so the sleeping mattresses we had were very poor. In fact, the beds would fall. Sometimes you can sleep in one and it'd fall in. You had to try to fix that. And I wasn't sleeping well. I was having trouble. We had long days. There was no days off. 7 months was not a day off, holidays or anything. And I was so tired in the afternoon when my sponsor sent my sleep system, a little demo pad over. And my upline had already loaded me with nutritionals to take over with me. And then I had the little Aquacore Express water system at the time. And I had the little small air unit. And all those came into play because the water bottles, they set out in the sun in the desert. And so they were getting baked, and I was really worried about that plastic leaching in. They were burning trash, including everything, batteries, and the smoke was blowing right over where we were sleeping. So I had the air unit hung out underneath the bed, And I slept on the bottom bunk because we would get mortared on a regular basis. So I figured I was better protected that way. And so after I got the sleep system, I wasn't as tired in the afternoon, and I was able to drink the water and have the air cleaned. And so that made me feel more comforted that I wasn't going to suffer as much as somebody didn't take these precautions. And yeah, it's kind of stressful when you're getting mortared on a regular basis. So I think, I remember Patrick Millsap saying when you're under stress, your body chews up vitamins. So having that extra supplementation, I think, was a tremendous thing. So then, what I saw in my 20 years of medicine is we're very good at some things. And I really love medicine, certain parts of it. But what I noticed is that they were pretty quick to give something like a drug to take care of the symptom and send someone on their way. If someone came in with back pain to our clinic, it was a shot of Toradol in the butt and send them on their way. And I'm like, but we haven't dealt with the real problem. And that would always concern me. Sometimes I told my patients, like, oh, you may want to try massage or chiropractic or something like that. Unfortunately, I couldn't talk too much about NECAN because that would have been conflict of interest. But, I really felt that we could have helped them a lot more than we did. And so I really was a little dissatisfied with that. And that's one of the reasons I didn't stay in the medical field, because it was just, I didn't see wellness being practiced. It was always putting out fires, not preventing them. And so, and what I had been seeing as a consultant, I was seeing a lot of people get major improvement. Just about the time I got into NECAN, I had an ACL reconstruction. I had been skiing and I hurt my knee. And so just about that time, day one of surgery, after surgery, I put the little minis in my ACE rack. And I know that, it was supposed to help. So I did that. And I was at day 4 flexibility by day 1. And I told my doctor I didn't want to lose any of my range of motion in my knee because I'm in martial arts. And he said, well, I don't know. Well, the last day he saw me, I was able to extend my leg all the way and also pull the heel of my butt. And he's like, okay. And I really believe that because of the magnets, I believe that probably helped prevent scar tissue. And so I didn't lose any range of motion. And then another knee surgery story is one that didn't happen. My mom was, we took her to the doctor, and the orthopedic doctor showed us the x-rays, and there was bone arthritis. And so they scheduled her for a knee replacement. In the meantime, I had put her on the osteodents. And coincidentally, she told me her knee wasn't hurting anymore. And I said, well, then why are you going to have the surgery? Well, she's very, very sweet and worried about everybody, and she didn't want to make the doctor angry. So, if you call, I'll cancel the surgery. So I called and we canceled the surgery, and that's been years. So she's never needed a knee replacement. And having a surgery when you have some other health issues isn't a really good idea if you can avoid it. So I feel really good about that. And another story I have is when I had, I'm a ham radio operator, and a couple of people in my ham radio club had diabetic neuropathy. And I got them the insoles, and both of them had sensation restored in their feet in a day. Now, one of them, both feet, and the other one, it was worse. Day 1, he had sensation back in the better foot. The other foot hadn't, at that point, got better. But I heard about the double-blind study, and I knew that was for 4 months. So I lost contact with him, so I never know what happened over the long term. But he was happy. He said 1 out of 2 is not bad. And then another story with my mom was on her blood sugar. And we used the alkaline water and the real salt, unrefined sea salt, and we're able to lower her blood sugar really fast. I came home and her blood sugar was 480, and I gave her this salt and this alkaline water from NECAN, and her sugar dropped to 432. And that was in about a 10-minute period. And then one time when I wasn't home, my brother, who didn't have any medical experience, called me up. Her sugar was high, and he asked me that formula, and I gave it to him, and her sugar dropped 103 points. Now, as I was giving it to her on a regular basis, her sugar was usually in the 300s or 400s. And as I gave it to her on a regular basis, her sugar came down to the hundreds. And we've had a sugar as low as 112. So that's almost back to normal. That was our best, though. We haven't got it down yet as far as I want to, but I'm still working on it. And we have the progesterol as well, which I like. And so, and then the other thing is her kidney function. Her kidney doctor, I think her kidney function was like 38, and now the last one was 64, which means her kidney doctor said that probably we're going to discharge her as a patient. We don't need to see her anymore because her kidney function hasn't improved that much. And I really believe a large part of that is the water. Now, we did also help with diet. Now that she's staying with us, we're controlling her diet better, and of course, all the other NECAN things that she's living in the sleep system. And so I really believe that, it's made a major difference for her. I had early on in my time with NECAN, I met a lady that had MS. Somebody referred me to her, and she was in a wheelchair, and I used the products with her, and it took her pain away. And so to the point where when her husband would move her from the wheelchair to her chair to sleep, he would move the NECAN products with her, and it kept her pain. And she was a nurse before. She said, I was sicker than my patients. And so that was very rewarding. And there's so many times that people have said it, pain has went away, with the NECAN products. One guy was going to have another back surgery, and he got the insoles, and he was pain-free for 3 months. He was really ecstatic as well. So I could tell a lot more stories. And one of the ones that was most amazing to me is one that we could watch. I was at Costco with my dad, and one of his friends had a lump, and we were sitting there talking, and he had a lump on his hand that was painful. And I took one of the power patches and put it on that lump. Well, we're used to seeing the pain go away, but as we were sitting there, the lump went away. We sat there and watched it just shrink right in front of our eyes. I just don't know how that happened, but it also took the pain away, so he was happy.
That's a great story. And so that the magnetics, nobody knows how it really works. It's like saying, how does water work? It's always been with us as living systems, and if the magnets help things move, so you've got some congestion, it'll just help it move. And we're down to the wire here, Don. I know we could talk more and more, and your stories are fantastic. I so appreciate it. So can you just what do you recommend for someone that's new to NECAN? What's your first bit of advice to them?
Well, I like the water system to start out with, because everything works better when you're hydrated, and it affects so many things. So, acid. I mean, I've had friends of mine who got the water system that took away their acid reflux. And even Dr. Oz was on talking about alkaline water helping with acid reflux. So that's much better than taking in any acid, which blocks your absorption of minerals. And the other thing is that yeah, that's a good start. And of course, the sleep system is so important. We know that longevity is mostly more dependent on sleep than any other factor. And you'll look better. I mean, one of the things I like is that you want to look your best, and I don't have much to work with, but NECAN's helping me.
You look great. And do you mind telling how old you are? Because you look like you're about 25.
I am 54.
Right.
People always could not believe I was retired from the Navy, and I didn't even join until I was 26. So I was 46 when I retired, and they said, you can't be retired. And they would I'd actually have to show them my military ID sometimes, but what my age was. Now, we have good genetics in our family. My grandmother's 99. And my dad's 83, and so we have good genetics. But my uncle just turned 95 yesterday.
Wow.
So but it affects what you do with those. Your lifestyle is really what decides how your genetics work. And I love the new shampoo. My hair feels softer and just clean, and my scalp feels better too. Sometimes I get an itchy scalp, and I don't know if I'm going to have that anymore, because it just feels really good.
Yeah, I think that's over. That's so cool. I love what you said. I'm going to end with that our lifestyle determines how our genetics work out. So it's all about quality of life, extending quality of life for a long longevity. So thank you, Dawn, so much for sharing today. And I'm going to go back to a couple of finishing slides, but thank you. Great stories.
Thank you.
So this is all about discover it, live it, and if you feel inspired by what you experience, share it. Become a customer. It's very easy. It's like any other online business. Just go back to the person who sponsored you. They'll get you signed up. It's free to be a customer, and you can get the consumables at 25% off if you have a regular shipment. And then if you want to learn more about becoming a part-time entrepreneur or even a full-time career builder, there are live information about that too, and lots of wonderful recordings. So thanks again for everybody participating, and to Don Shenck for sharing his awesome stories. And I'll hope to see you all next week. Thanks again, Don. Take care.